What is up, LEGO gang? Botanical here, back at it again for another video. Now, you may notice that we're not in my typical recording space, and that is because I wanted to record this review in my botanical garden in my house. Today, we're gonna be taking a look at the brand new LEGO Ideas Botanical Garden set. Before we get started, please be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world, and I would love to have you around. This set was sent to me early by the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all thoughts and opinions about this beautiful set are my own. Without further ado, let's dive in. When I was in Denmark for Fan Media Days, I had the beautiful opportunity to interview Chris about the LEGO Botanical Garden. He was the designer for this set, and of course, he is just one of many people that works on this, but it was a wonderful experience getting to sit down with him and talk about his model. The LEGO Ideas Botanical Garden has 3,792 pieces, releasing on November 1st, 2024 for $330 US. This is the 61st set to be released through the LEGO Ideas program, as well as the second largest. Inside the box, you'll find 29 bags, as well as the instruction booklet, which has some information on the fan designer Valentina, who is from Italy, and she is also an architect. Continuing to flip through the instruction booklet, there's more information about what is a botanical garden, as well as the design process. It's a really interesting read, and I love that they put these in the instruction booklets now. This set only has 5 stickers, which is absolutely perfect. So here it is, completely built, and as you can see, it is just one of the most beautiful sets I think LEGO has ever released. Now, of course, no LEGO set is ever perfect, and this one is not perfect. It definitely has some small, minor problems, which I will get into later. But overall, the build experience for this was fantastic, so I cannot wait to show you everything that's inside. Let's take a closer look at the minifigures. There are 12 total, which is some of the most we've ever seen in any LEGO Ideas set. Of the 12, 8 of the minifigures are visitors, and 3 are groundskeepers, and there's one that I'm missing, but I will explain later. The first groundskeeper we get has dual molded legs as well as a leaf blower. He has this really cute side smile as well as blonde hair, and he does come with an alternate facial expression, which is him kind of like scared. Our next groundskeeper also has dual molded legs as well as that same overall pattern. I love the hairpiece as well as the 2 facial expressions, and she does come with a pair of pruning shears. Our first visitor has a denim jacket as well as the short blue legs. I love the hairpiece on this minifigure as well as the 2 facial expressions, and this figure does have the Audio Tour headphones around their neck, which I also think is a really cool touch. Our next visitor is kind of like this older gentleman. He has one facial expression, which is this like really cute smile. I love the torso printing. It's on the front as well as the back, and he does come with an umbrella. Our next minifigure, I'm going to just call the mom because in the storyline, which you'll find out, she's definitely like a mom or a caretaker, but I love her torso printing on the front as well as the back. Her hairpiece is incredible, and she does have an alternate facial expression of her looking like shocked, which again, I will tell you about later. Up next, we have a little boy who has a flower for an accessory. I love his torso printing with the mountains with the paint splash. He's also got like a little bit of torso details on the back, and he does come with an alternate facial expression of him like more angry. The next minifigure is another groundskeeper, but I've kind of been using this one as a barista. I don't know which one is supposed to be the barista, but I've deemed this one the barista. The torso printing is a little bit different. It's not quite the overall look. It's more of like an apron, as you can see from the backside. The leg printing on this one's a little weird. I wish there would have been like the dual molded legs, but if it's an apron, I can understand why it doesn't. It just looks kind of weird because it's not like fully printed across the front of the legs. I don't know if that's something that just like they couldn't do, but it does look a little weird to me. This minifigure does come with an alternate facial expression as well as using that hat hairpiece that we saw with the Jaws set for Matt Hooper, but I believe it's originally from Dreams if I'm not mistaken. Up next, we have the manager of the Botanical Gardens, but fun fact, this is actually the fan designer for this set. Almost every LEGO Ideas set gives kind of like an ode to the LEGO Ideas fan designer, and so this is actually Valentina herself. And just from looking at her picture inside the instruction booklet, I don't think that they could have gotten this any closer. This looks exactly like her, and I adore this minifigure. Up next, we have another visitor of the botanical garden. I'm just going to call this one Jack Nicholson Santa. I don't know, this hairpiece always reminds me of Jack Nicholson. I cannot explain it at all. He only comes with one facial expression, and his torso does have plaid printing on the front as well as the back, and he just has plain old tan legs. I've never had deja vu with a minifigure like I have with this one. This lady looks like someone I know and I can't quite place who it is. She's got torso printing on the front as well as the back. She does come with a pair of binoculars and I love her two facial expressions. The one is smiling and the other one is more of like a closed smirk. And she does come with one of my favorite accessories because that's a dog and I love dogs. Now this next minifigure is particularly special because this is the first time LEGO has made a minifigure with a visual impairment without glasses. Now, when I had my interview with Chris, who designed this set, I really had such a great conversation with him because when you think about a botanical garden, you think about all of the visual, vivid things that you can see. But there are so many non-visual aspects of a botanical garden that we experience, like the smells and the sounds and the overall atmosphere of being in a place that is so heavily based in nature. And that's why I think it's so beautiful that we have someone with a visual impairment represented in this set through this minifigure. Our final minifigure is this really cool, vibey, bearded guy with a camera. I love his Hawaiian shirt underneath his kind of like leather jacket, and there is torso printing on the front as well as the back. Now, for how much of this set is a botanical set, for me this set is also about storytelling, which is why I think we got this collection of minifigures. And now the minifigures are all paired up to kind of tell their own little stories within this set, and LEGO is so much about storytelling. Like every pitch that I've seen has told a story about the set, and this is just so beautifully represented in this model. So I encourage you to come up with your own stories, but some of the stories that are in this set I want to share with you, like this bear plant that is next to this rabbit. We clearly ate some of it. This couple is enjoying the largest cupcake in the entire universe. There's a dumpster squirrel and the leaf blower guy is kind of terrified of it. I'm just kidding, I just kind of made that story on my own. And this last one I actually had to steal from the box art, but the mom is so angry at her son or terrified because he has picked a flower. And spoiler alert, do not pick flowers in botanical gardens, that's not cool. So we've talked about the people, but now let's talk about the animals that make up the community of the botanical garden. There are a total of 8 critters that call this botanical garden their home. The first one is this vibrant yellow bird that is drinking out of the water fountain. We have a blue beetle hidden in the tree, and we actually get a few of these tiles so you can use it in multiple places. We have the brown bird from the D&D CMF series. We have a red cardinal. Nested in one of the windows, we have another bird that uses the fur piece as a nest. We have a dumpster squirrel, which is nuts. We have a well-behaved dog eyeing a cupcake, and we have a mischievous rabbit that has eaten a plant. Now, the buildings that are usually in a botanical garden are called conservatories, and this one is so particularly beautiful just because of the amount of windows that lets in all this natural light into the set. And the structure was a ton of fun to build. The brand new corner pieces are so helpful and beautiful and really make this stand out. So from a far glance, this just looks like a white building with a skeletal structure with just a ton of windows, but as you get closer to it, there are a ton of NPUs, which is a nice parts usage, and you can see all of the beautiful details that make this building just so elegant, and it's hard to believe that it's made out of Lego. Now the roof pieces do come off in the main atrium as well as in the arid room and in the cafe, and another great feature is the wall panels do come off on the small room so that you can have easier access to the main part of the set. And even though this is inside of the set, it does still feel very organic with these vines that creep along the walls. Now on the wall, there's another tribute to the fan designer. You can see Valentina as well as her beloved dog that she wanted to include in this set. So they didn't have the Dachshund piece anymore. That mold didn't exist. So they just decided to use a sticker to represent her dog. I do want to call it this MPU for Gates used for the spiral staircase. It is brilliant. Now, the first of the two side rooms is the arid garden, which would house your cacti or other dry weathered plants. And your second side room is the cafe, and I really adore this little side build. It looks so much like a cafe, even though it's such a small space. You have the espresso machine, and the designer made this little donut thing, and how he makes them angled is brilliant. You just like push these clips in, and that angles the donuts, and it just looks delicious. Now I think it's time we get into all the different plants and flowers that are in this set. Now the designer said that there are over 35 species of plants, and I am so excited to show them all to you. I do want to mention this peony piece right here because it is going to be used quite a bit as I show you all of the different plants in this set. Now this piece was created by the LEGO Ideas team for the Botanical Garden. Now we've seen it being used in a couple other sets that have released before this one, but I did want to mention that this was created by the LEGO Ideas team, and it is so cool to see them create a piece that is just so widely used within the LEGO library. Also, it's a peony, and peonies and sunflowers are my favorite flowers ever, so I'm so excited to have this in the parts inventory. Now, another really interesting piece is this tulip piece, and the element designer of the tulip was Dutch, which I think is a really cool, like, nerdy Easter egg. Now the first tree we're going to identify is the Japanese maple. Now I have a couple of these in my yard at home, and I just love the way that this color pops with the rest of the set. Up next we have the ice cream tulips that use the brand new peony piece with the cupcake frosting. Then we have red peonies that are located on either side of the entryway. Up next we have orange Sandersonias, which again use the brand new peony piece. The vine creeping up the side of the building is called the Dutchman's pipe. We also get two weeping white spruces, as well as a flower bed of purple hydrangeas. Off to the side we have a couple pink hypericum, and we have some Egyptian star clusters, and the leaves of this are actually green bananas from the Mario sets. They're kind of like this rubbery material. Off to the side we have some pink zinnias and orange ranunculus. And off in the back we have a potted tulip plant, and just beside it is a clover piece, which was kind of one of the requests of Valentina. Now let's check out all of the plants inside the conservatory. Inside are some pink lupines, which use these micro car parts for the buds. There are also some coral anthuriums. The yellow flower here are some Welch poppies, and then this tall like plant with the cherry blossoms is a coffee plant. There is also an orange banksia. In the center of the room there's a collection of mushrooms, and I'm gonna totally butcher the pronunciation here, so do not hate me, but the red ones are amanitas, the yellow are Amanita flavorconia, the dark tan are the Amanita pantherina. Off to the side are bamboo and pink astalbe. The vines creeping up the side of the walls are Himalayan ivy. The red flower is a corpse flower. The little broom plant in the back is called a pitcher plant. The leafy plant behind the mushroom is called a heart's tongue fern. The plant with the crowns is called a yellow angel trumpet plant. And Valentina requested to have some birds of paradise in this set, and the crazy thing about that is Chris, the designer for the Botanical Garden, was also the designer for the Birds of Paradise Botanical set, which was a set that I ran out day one to go get. One of the tall trees inside is called a date palm, and the other one is actually a eucalyptus tree. Behind the spiral staircase is an alpine larch, and the two plants hanging in the coffee shop are philodendrons. In the arid room, the tall cactus with a pink flower is the torch cactus. The short cactus that looks like a pumpkin is a Paradea magnifica. The tall cactus is a fence post cactus, and the cactus cluster is the Ezekian hintoni. So my overall thoughts of this set is that it's so beautifully designed, and it's filled with so many incredible details. And this was one of the best building experiences I've ever had with LEGO. It had such an organic and natural feel to it, and not just because it was a botanical garden, but because of just the way that the set flows. I have had the pleasure of staring at this set for the past 2 weeks in my home, and I have to say that it has quickly become one of my favorite LEGO sets of all time. And one of my favorite parts about this set is that it's so just genuinely LEGO between the storytelling and the beautiful relaxation that you get through building it. It is, for me, one of the most perfect sets that I think LEGO has ever designed. So this wraps up my review of the LEGO Botanical set. Please be sure to leave me a comment letting me know what you think and if you plan on picking this up, and I will see you guys for the next one. Bye!